Hi guys, you know Megalodon, right? The giant prehistoric shark, the massive dweller of the deep, the severest hunter that ever was. Still, ocean is massive, and it's deep, so it's kinda logical to think that there might have been even greater and bigger predators than Megalodon. So today we'll tell you about the Bloop, and you'll see why this guy was a serious threat to Megalodon. First of all, let's try to understand why Megalodon is so scary and frightening. It died out 3 million years ago, but people still remember this enormous beast, and they always talk about how it's the most dangerous predator that the world have ever seen. And that's totally possible. The size and weight alone is enough to make you go, wow. 70 foot long, weighs 50 tons. It's hard to imagine a beast like that in reality. Obviously, not a lot of people would dare to come near such a monster. I mean, imagine a shark by the size of an airplane. A mouth that is 10 foot in diameter with 270 massive sharp teeth. Those who studied those teeth say that Megalodon's bite force equaled 182 newtons, which means it could easily bite through a truck. If it was a mammal, it would be a real big mammal, and it could devour any dinosaur. Megalodon was kind of omnivorous. It ate whales, giant squids, and sharks, and other things. In order to function well, Megalodon had to process at least a ton of food in 24 hours, which is something like half the weight of a grown-up elephant. It had perfect senses and killer instincts, which is why everyone agrees that these sharks were the most dangerous dwellers of the deep. Even modern-day sharks are frightening. Take white shark for example. It's big and menacing, but you can't even compare it to Megalodon. Its teeth were 3 times bigger, plus those were ribbed, reminding of a kind of saw that can cut through any kind of bone. Even whales had absolutely nothing on those teeth. There are many similarities between great white shark and Megalodon, and it's fair to say that Megalodon had its weaknesses. Because of its constant need for lots of oxygen, it couldn't move slow and had to be constantly moving quite fast. Being sneaky is not their shtick. Those prehistoric whales, for example, were much more intelligent than Megalodon. Still, they couldn't really do anything to avoid the big jaws of the massive predator. I guess it's kinda hard to think of anything clever when you see the biggest monster in the world coming straight at you. The thing about Megalodon is that all the info we have is based on their teeth. Nobody can say for sure what these guys looked like. Paleontologists only speculate that they looked like the modern great white shark. It's not a secret that scientists make a lot of mistakes when it comes to talking about something that used to live over 3 million years ago and left nothing for research apart from its teeth. But until there aren't any more options, let's just stick to the great white shark version. We already mentioned that Megalodon was a voracious type of animal. In order to sustain a huge body like that, lots of fish and lots of plankton and other kinds of nutrients had to be taken. It seems logical to think that Megalodon didn't really notice the kind and type of stuff it was eating. It was so huge it didn't even notice what came in and out. And if they never died out, they would probably eradicate all living things underwater. And if the theory that all living things came from out of water is right, perhaps humans would have never existed. There was a theory that suggested that Megalodon died out because of climate change, but this theory is outdated, and now most scientists think that they simply couldn't find enough food to sustain themselves. As you can see, every diet should be well balanced. Anyway, these guys were terrorizing the Earth for over 20 million years, which is a very long time. It's quite remarkable how some whales actually managed to stay alive during this period. But even though it's obvious that the giant shark never lived up till this day, there are many strange videos online where people say that they saw something similar. And of course, if you hear somebody say that, you shouldn't believe them. It's complete nonsense. Norwegian adventurer Thor Heyerdahl once told a story when he was in a submarine near the coast of Peru. One night he heard a strange, frightening hum. When he woke up and looked outside the porthole, he saw something incredibly big. Nobody could clearly see what it was, but everyone saw the same thing. They say it was about 1,000 foot. It was making strange sounds, and its body was glowing a little bit. Jacques-Yves Cousteau had a similar story. He also said their crew found a similar creature about the same size. Nobody knew what it was. They call it Bloop, and they say that it's much more frightening than Megalodon. Of course, if there were only 2 people saying they saw Bloop, nobody would believe them, except for science fiction writers maybe. But not so long ago, scientists of the world started to get serious about the fact that Bloop really exists, and it's all because of the sounds it makes. Finally, somebody managed to capture the strange hum described by the adventurers. It happened in 1997. The sounds were recorded with a hydrophone. The weird sounds were coming out of the ocean, and you can check this recording online. It's out there for everyone who wants to listen to it. You might think that it's just a sound, like it's nothing special, but the fact is that it could be heard 3,000 miles away. It sounds similar to those sounds made by whales and dolphins, but those options are totally out of the question. The sound was way too loud. There is no proof that the sounds came from a live creature, but there's no explanation to it neither, which is why most people think that the underwater monster is a real deal, and it will soon be discovered. The less facts there are, the more people fantasize. A lot of people have an idea of how underwater monsters should look like. Nobody knows what Bloop looks like, but somehow people tend to think that it resembles a massive whale. The Bloop story inspired a lot of artists. Everyone has their own vision of the monster. In some pictures they made it look like a kind of dinosaur or a giant underwater sort of lizard. Other works show it as some incredible half whale, half squid. Sometimes they show it with a giant jaw and pointy teeth. Other times they make pictures look completely surreal. Anyway, until we see Bloop, we'll never know what it really looks like. Hopefully one day we'll see it, and hopefully it won't destroy the entire world. The theory that the sounds were produced by monsters is just one of many guesses. Also, the fact that the sound is so vivid and pronounced is due to the fact that there's great acoustics out in the open space above the ocean. And this could potentially mean that the sound was produced by a pack of whales or giant squids. Even glaciers can make sounds similar to those. So I guess it's a little too early to say that the Bloop really exists. Right now it's more of an imaginary character. But it certainly is the most interesting theory so far. Anyway, if the Bloop really exists, then the sounds it makes certainly indicate that it's much bigger and a lot more dangerous than Megalodon. And if the two ever had a fight, the Bloop would probably never even notice Megalodon. That's how huge it probably is. So, do you guys think the Bloop is real? And what about those strange sounds? That's all for now. Don't forget to press the like button if you like the video. Share it, subscribe to Real Bizarre, and also check some more Real Bizarre videos here on Real Bizarre. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you soon.